What is an ethnicity? Why do we usually think that ethnicity is a synonym for race? We will clarify all of this and more in this video. Race, in exclusively biological terms, is a set of phenotypic and genotypic characteristics manifested both physically and psychologically, which are shared in common by a particular population of individuals of the same species. These are determined and persist through the laws of inheritance and the rise through evolutionary adaptability to the environment. In the case of human races, as mentioned before, it is an exclusively biological terminology. What we call human races today are, in reality, mixed groups that we can colloquially call human races in a valid way. For example, in this illustration, we can see several individuals who belong to what is colloquially considered the white race, a racial group with hybridizations of individuals who share certain lineages more than others, and with percentages of residual contributions that vary according to the individual. In this other illustration, we have individuals of what we colloquially know as the black race, which is an extensive racial group with various genetic contributions from other extinct archaic races. This is reflected in the phenotypic variety of these 5 individuals and of many other examples that we could include. An ethnicity is a human population in which members identify with one another, usually based on a real or presumed genealogy and common ancestry or other historical ties. Ethnicities are also united by common cultural, behavioral, linguistic, and religious practices. These communities generally claim for themselves a social and political structure and a territory. Although the term ethnicity is often mistakenly used as a euphemism for race or as a synonym for a minority group, the difference between these terms lies in the fact that while ethnicity encompasses cultural factors such as nationality, tribal affiliation, religion, language, or particular traditions within a human racial group, race corresponds specifically to biological factors such as genetic, anatomical, and physiological traits. Let's look at an example. The Indo-European or Europoid racial group branches into several ethnicities, both within Europe and beyond. Ethnicities within this racial group include Greeks, Castilians, Germans, Ukrainians, Armenians, Bretons, Galicians, Basques, Corsicans, etc. Obviously, we have not listed all European ethnicities. However, it is worth noting that while most are native to Europe, there are also some in geographical areas known today as Asia or Siberia. Ethnicities are human groups that share elements such as language, traditions, and historical origins, but they do not necessarily have a political state that represents them. In the world, there are ethnic states, but also multi-ethnic states, also called pluriethnic. There are ethnicities that simply do not possess a state. France, for example, is pluriethnic because it is made up of various historical ethnic territories, such as the Corsicans, Basques, and Occitans, among others. As a contrary example, Armenia is an ethnic state because its territory historically belongs to the Armenian ethnicity. Its political structure is built as the country of the Armenians and no one else. This means its official mother tongue is Armenian, and it has no other ethnicities involved in the political configuration of its state. The Kurds are an ethnic group that lacks its own country, but is represented as a minority in several Middle Eastern states. The ethnic state of Kurdistan is something that has not been possible to build, and the Kurds have had to live dispersed across various territories. The Kurds are a clear example of an ethnicity with different religions, as an ethnicity does not necessarily have to have a single religion. There are Kurds who are Christians and others who are Muslims. Furthermore, Kurds are not all from the same racial group. Some are of a European racial type and others are totally Semitic. This tells us that an ethnicity is merely a group of people who essentially share related cultural traits, a language and traditions, but who may have different religious beliefs and descend from one or more racial groups. Citizenship, or political nationality, is simply when the state grants nationality to an individual for having been born in its territory or for other historical colonial reasons. This type of nationality is an abstract and exclusively political legal concept. It is conceptualized through the subjective contractual alteration and based on cultural abstractions as an artificial alternative reality imposed arbitrarily by society, through which an individual signs a social contract by virtue of which, regardless of their origins, they are granted the nationality of the state by birth or naturalization. This concept of nation was established by Freemasonry during the French Revolution and is the most convenient form of nation for states that adopted the multicultural ideological model. On the other hand, ethnic nationality is of an anthropological nature, as it is obtained by blood right, or jus sanguinis. That is, the individual acquires the nationality of their ancestors by the fact of their ethnic affiliation, even if the place of birth is in another state. It is based on the family ties of ethnicity and tradition. The nationality is that of the parents, even if the child was born abroad. This type of nationality is now hardly recognized politically and legally, only socially and culturally. Culture is the set of all attitudes, acquired knowledge, forms, types or patterns, and explicit or implicit values through which a society regulates the conduct of people. As such, it includes customs, practices, codes, norms, and rules of being, clothing, religion, politics, behavioral norms, and systems of ideas, such as Western culture or Islamic culture. From another point of view, it can be said that culture is all the information and skills possessed by human beings, although some animals of other species also have cultures on a small scale. In anthropological terms, which is what interests us, culture is a family of peoples that, in turn, diversify into ethnicities. To give an example, the Indo-European peoples were a megalithic culture that gave rise to most European ethnicities. Initially, a Europoid racial group developed a culture called European, which diversified into numerous peoples, and these, in turn, into ethnicities. For example, the Celtic people branched into numerous ethnicities, such as the Gallicos, the Welsh, the Irish, the Scots, the Bretons, etc. The Germanic people branched into the Swedish, Norwegian, German, Dutch, Anglo-Saxon ethnicities, and so on.